Let's get to the AFC first. This line opened at 5, but it has crept up, actually 4, I should say, to 5 and 5.5, depending on where you're looking at, because of the offensive line issues with Cincinnati. That total at 48, 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Out on CBS right here. Both of you guys are on the Bengals, surprisingly, given the offensive line issues that Joe Burrow might have as we're looking here. Brady, why is that?
Well, first off, I'm going to let Pete give a start here, but I think the toughest thing is if the Bills had Von Miller, I'd probably be on the other side of this bet. They don't. They don't have the closer. You mentioned that last week or maybe a couple of weeks ago when talking about the Bills heading into the playoffs. They don't have that dynamic pass rusher that we've seen. They might not need it, though, versus this offensive line group, the way the Bengals struggled versus the Baltimore Ravens last week. But I'm curious to get your pick on this because I know you're on the side of the Bengals here, but do the Bengals win?
No, the Bengals won't win the game. Yeah. The Bills will win the game. And oh, by the way, we're talking about Cincinnati's offensive line. Josh Allen was sacked 7 times last week by Miami. It's not like his right tackle's any damn good either. That guy's been a spinning top of the week once this week already. Could have been a couple different times. Spencer Brown, he struggles. They've had issues, protecting their quarterback as well. And here's the other thing. For as bad as Cincinnati is on the offensive line, it wasn't like Buffalo was really getting after the quarterback last week either.
Right.
There were times when Skylar Thompson stood there and did whatever he wanted to. So I think that kind of offsets. This will ultimately come down to Joe Burrow getting the ball out and Josh Allen getting outside the pocket and making plays with his legs and big pass plays with his legs. In the end, I think Allen will make more of them, which is why I'm going to take Buffalo. By the way, should this game even be in Buffalo? There's some question about that too, because if Cincinnati had won that game, it wouldn't be in Buffalo. So they're going to come out. I think they're going to play well. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think both quarterbacks will play well. But in the end, I think Buffalo will find a way to win it in advance.
It's funny, though, because Pete keeps going with this mantra. He said 1 in 10. Now it's 2 years later. He actually said multiple. So I've tried to only give him 2 and 8. I'm actually picking not only the Bengals to be able to cover here, but to win outright. I've got the Bengals going all the way to the Super Bowl.
So winning the Super Bowl?
And winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, you and Will Brinson. You must be copying his paper.
It's odd. Well, I said this actually a week or so ago, so a while back when we made these picks. You weren't in. I think Rick Spielman was.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, though, I think this is a game where Josh Allen has had to play Superman ball, and he is Superman. He's an incredible player. At some point, there's going to be a player or two that turn the tide of this game, and it'll give Cincinnati the win. They've just asked him to do so much. He's been their leading rusher at times. He's had to overcome the lack of protection, the lack of any balance. He's had to scramble and make plays with his legs outside the pocket with some big throws. Josh Allen's one of those special players in this league. Unfortunately, I think they're asking him to do too much. I think Joe Burrow can operate from within the pocket, spread the football around, get the ball out quick, as you talked about. And I also think Zach Taylor knows that the Bills have had a hard time stopping their ground game. And they've got to have some semblance of rush. Now, the
Bengals don't rush it very well.
They don't rush it well, but I think they're going to have to do it a little bit here versus the Bills in order to not let the Bills tee off versus that's basically a bunch of second stringers playing offensive line.
2 questions. Better quarterback, who is it? It's close.
It's close. They're very different. I don't like comparing them for that reason because obviously Burrow can run, not quite to the extent that Josh Allen can, and Allen probably has a better arm, but I think Burrow's more accurate. And I think well, the way he plays the game from the pocket is maybe even better than
So he
Josh
didn't
Allen.
answer the question.
I'm not picking because I don't have to.
Even.
It's just a question for you.
Call him even.
They're different, but sure, call him even.
Okay. I'd probably lean to Allen by a smidge, and it's close. Better defense.
I think the Bengals have stepped up, but I think on paper the Bills
Buffalo's
better defense.
Are they, though? Because this is what I was going to follow up, but statistically the numbers are good, but Bills Mafia has concerns about that Bills defense, something I asked you guys last time around, too. Against the Dolphins, we saw Thompson make some plays, looked like this is third-string quarterback, Pete. What concerns do you have about the defense here?
Pass rush. And again, Von Miller not there is big, but they used a lot of draft capital to go get guys to rush the passer. It's time they showed up in the postseason.
I'll be curious, too, how well they cover down on the Bengals wide receivers. That's another area that I thought
Play
the Bills...
off, though.
I thought, and that's an issue, because I think Jamar Chase, these guys are tough to tackle in space.
Yeah.
And I thought the Bills would be better in the secondary this year than they have been. I know they've had some injuries back there, too.
Micah Hyde.
That's played a big factor in all of it. Trey was out for a period of time, too. So all that stuff plays a factor. I just think at the end, the Bengals have something going. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. They carry on with that momentum.
This will be fun. I can't wait for this. This is a perfect game to watch. 2 great quarterbacks.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.